All right, so people are checking in, and I've never done this before, so oh,
Hi.
hello.
How is it being? How are you?
How is? Pretty good. Um, I don't remember if I told you, but I had to stay home from work since I am a bit sick, and I also went to take a COVID test. So
Are
keeping the distance.
are you okay? Are you like
Yeah, I I have a just gonna lower things here. I have a sore throat and kind of hurts a bit, but other than that, not really, not much.
I mean, it sucks to have a sore throat considering, but
Yeah,
glad
so I'm not sure if I'm going to scream a lot or demonstrate stuff, but not sure I will have to since I'm not really sure what it is we are doing here.
me neither. But if you need somebody to yell, I'll be happy to do the yelling.
Yeah. So do you hear me all right?
Yeah, everything is actually surprisingly great on the first try. And
Yeah.
it's fine over there too.
Yeah.
Good.
And people are ticking in, and they'll just have to tell us if they can't really hear what we're doing or saying or whatever.
Are we answering questions on this stream, or are we just gonna do our own thing?
We do our own thing, and if we see something that's interesting, we will, of course, answer it.
Okay.
We got some questions from when we announced this, both to you and me, and I've got some stuff prepared too. I listened to some of your older stuff just to remember it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just gonna turn off the heat because it's getting really warm here.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can adjust the lighting here.
Yeah. All right, so I decided to call this a voice chat because I was thinking about talking to people about the voice. Because I know sometimes, in interviews, I guess there are questions about singing, but not very in-depth. And so I would like to do something for more nerdy vocalist people.
That is great.
Oh.
I also never get a chance to talk about this shit except on my own Instagram, which is, I don't know if anybody actually cares or not. But so yeah, I think this is super cool, and I'm glad that you're doing this.
Yeah, and for now, we don't really have to care if anyone is listening or not. We can talk anyway.
Okay.
I mean, we can start off with some of the stuff that we were asked about. There's a lot of different stuff, but I mean, some interesting stuff that I also wonder about is, it's a cliche question, but when did you start to sing? I mean, it must have been when you were...
My first, yeah, I mean, the first vocal performance, I was 3 years old. It was a little solo at the church thing that my family went to. In preschool, for like preschool graduation, we had to do get up in front of the class and sing a little song. I did that. It's as much a part of me as talking is, and I'm sure it's the same for you. But I didn't really start taking private lessons until I was 12, maybe. Yeah. I'm 25 now, so 13 years.
But you sang in choirs and stuff when you were...
Yeah. Started choir when I was maybe 9, and I did theater almost my entire lower and middle school. So I don't know if you call that choir, but chorus. Yeah.
I was recently in a discussion about that, about teaching or having lessons. I mean, private lessons when you're a kid, like 6 years old or stuff like that. And in my instinct says that choir probably is better up to a certain level of age where you need individual coaching. But to me, I think that private lessons would probably be wasted, like before you were 10, something like that.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about this because I feel like some instruments are something that you can pick up as a kid, like piano. That's stereotypical. Like, I started taking piano lessons when I was 6. And many of my classmates also did. I had my best friend played harp, or like, I'm half Asian, typical, like, really brilliant child, like learning like to shred violin by the time they're 8. But you don't think that private voice lessons are, I mean, I guess because it's such like inorganic, like it literally is the body. So if you're physically like not developed yet, you think?
Yes, I don't really know. I mean, I think we talked about something like this before. About the musical mind, and I think it's more. I mean, if you have a piano, it's very obvious which note you're playing, and you learn to identify notes and pitches. So I don't have any science to prove my point, but I think that it's, as a kid, you can, in a choir or playing an instrument, or I would rather say if you can play an instrument, I am certain you will not be a worse singer.
That definitely. But I
mean, there are so many instrumentalists that are great singers.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Or it's definitely easier, I think, from what I've seen, for people to go from like being an instrumentalist and then picking up singing a little bit on the side. I guess inner ear is already like more fine-tuned. So
and you I mean, singing is a bit like, being able to hear a pitch, imagining it in your mind, and reproducing it with your voice. So it's like a combination of these three, or calibration. And if you play an instrument, that is probably going to be easier.
Yeah, I mean, at least you can visualize where the note is. It's always like, I obviously, like, I used to teach and I don't really anymore, and blah blah blah, but like trying to explain to somebody like how to correct their like their pitch, it's not like you can just be like, just raise it a little bit, like close your eyes and imagine you can see into your throat and just like try to tighten your chords a little. Like, there's no real way that you can explain.
No, and that's why I think it's mostly an ear thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you should. I'm probably throwing rocks in glass houses here, but you should really practice your ear as much as you practice your voice.
I completely agree. That it's something that actually I struggled with a lot. Not a lot, but like just to get this kind of precision with pitch. Yeah. And also, like, I think to practice with the ear as much as possible. Like, I used to get so stuck in like only singing natural minor stuff, and then how would I ever dream to branch out into more colorful melodies or different, like, you know what I mean, different like worlds.
But I think that's mostly an imaginary problem, and same thing with just read a comment, sorry. About doing trills or doing fast stuff, or English word for it, ornaments
Right.
and stuff like that. Like you need to be able to imagine it, because if you can't hear it in your mind, you can never reproduce it with your mouth.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think that, I mean, these three, the voice, the ear, and the mind, I have been blessed or whatever with a pretty good voice. When I started to sing, I already knew how to play the trumpet, the piano, and the bass guitar, and all of that. So the musicality was already there, and I started to sing very late, after the voice change and all of that. So no boy soprano stuff going on. So my voice was always pretty natural, and my mind works perfectly fine, I think. But the ear has always been my Achilles heel, the thing that I had to work with a lot, and that I should work with more, probably. Would you say, what would you say is your strength of these three?
Oh, I mean, my first knee-jerk reaction is my strength is power. I never really have a problem with that.
No.
The problem is reining it back in. So, I guess if I had to pick one, like, oh goodness, I don't know. Probably, I feel like yours probably the strongest of those. That maybe because I was an alto in choir for so long, so I can pick out really weird notes with relative ease. You know, like I'm cursed forever to be singing the flat 7 in the chord.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Exactly. Yeah, like a human viola in that regard. So yeah. It used to be really hard to make sure that I was in tune, as like producing the note as close to the note that I wanted. Even until like a couple of years ago, and even like on the Avantasia tour, I was so fucking hard on myself. Am I allowed to say things on okay. Anyway, I was so hard on myself because like the songs were still new in my voice, I guess. So I had to really pay attention to make sure that I wasn't just like singing out my ass, to really go, time to limit to say farewell, instead of time to limit to say farewell. You know what I mean?
To be precise, yeah.
I literally, during the break after the first European leg, I remember being in Sascha's spare room like, na 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 na, just like trying to get like my chromatics like way back to basics. Man, yeah. And on top of all the stress and adrenaline and not sleeping and trying to just do my best, that's definitely the first thing that went was.
But I guess that, now I'm jumping between topics, but I mean, I don't know how much time you had to prepare for the Avantasia tour, the first one. Was it 2018?
2019.
19, all right, yeah. So I don't know how much time you had to prepare, but I guess I mean, even if you've heard the songs, and maybe because of that, because you've heard the melody, now you have to sing a harmony that you probably never even thought about before. I guess that must have been, you know, learning and putting it in your mind. How did that go? Or how did you do it? Or did you have any specific way to learn it?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, they gave the set list, and it's like 3 hours of music. And singing backing vocals means that I sing like all but like 2 or 3 of those songs. So it was pretty overwhelming. They sent out sheet music for the backing vocalists, thank goodness.
You got sheet music?
I got sheet music.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was a big part of how I was able to learn everything. And you know, I sat at the piano and like plunked out the parts and then like listened to it and just tried to like put 2 and 2 together in my brain. And it was just a matter of like, okay, we have to go to the store to buy furniture for my new place. Let's listen to the Avantasia stuff. And on the way back, oh, we're stuck in traffic, better put on the Avantasia playlist. So, but in the end, I think I may have only had like, for some reason, I feel like it was like 2 weeks because I had a Spires weekend before that, and then I had to shoot some music videos like right after that, and then I was like staying in like basically a closet in Boston with like a little couch inside. To Germany, and then it was like go to rehearsals for I think it was 2 weeks of rehearsals there, but like the first week it was just the band and backing vocalists, and then like we had a few rehearsals with all of the singers, and I only got to sing with Toby. I only got to sing Moonglow with Toby once before we he was sick. And he was very ill for basically the entire rehearsal time. So I think he was trying to save his voice.
Yeah.
I don't know how ill he was, but he was ill enough to not want to sing, which is fine. But I was shitting myself because also it's like there's this guy that I've looked up to since I was a teenager. And oh my God, he's like singing at me and I'm singing at him, and this is his song, and he hired me to, and oh my God, I better do a good job. And he's probably like, I feel like shit. I hope the new girl does a good job, but I don't really care because, I mean, I don't know if this is what he thinks, but he probably like, did care. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to do a good job. So yeah, long answer to your question, it wasn't that long that we had to prepare, and I had to plunk it out like an idiot.
Yeah.
But we did it just enough that I was finally comfortable by the time we had the first show, and then good thing I was comfortable because oh my God, the first night was terrifying. So yeah.
Yeah, I can only guess. And singing with like vocal giants, literally going, I don't know, from middleweight to heavyweight singing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also like I could be anybody's kid or grandchild. So, never mind that they're like all vocal giants. Like I feel decent about my abilities, but these people have like been doing their craft for as long as I've been alive. Like they've been professionals for as long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to hold my own as much as I can.
I remember I saw Ed Guy. It must have been 1999, I think. Yeah. So I only remember that because that night they were opening for Hammerfall, and Hammerfall's tour manager appeared, and they haven't found him yet.
What?
Yeah. No, he's dead, but no, they didn't find the body or anything. But yeah, so and that was like 20 years ago. So like you said, 20 years ago, when before Toby was touring Sweden, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I don't really know what the next question was, but I was going to ask you. I think it was about the Avantasia stuff, but I'm not really sure. We can go for another question here, and that kind of ties into this confidence in singing. And like you said, you feel pretty confident about yourself. Have you always been confident about your own singing?
Yeah, actually, even at times when maybe I shouldn't have been confident about it, I was. It makes me feel good, and there's usually like some kind of positive response, and so it makes me want to do it more, I guess. And even at times when I'm like, man, I really don't deserve this gig, or like, oh, the guy on YouTube was right, I'm shit, and I'm
the guy on YouTube.
reasonably attractive, I guess. Like, then I have to sit there and be like, Adrienne, you literally went to music school full time for 6 years. They gave you a full scholarship to go to like the Harvard of music schools, and it was like money from a rock festival. So shut the fuck up. You're doing fine. So I basically, yeah, I feel kind of mostly confident most of the time, and then if I don't feel confident, I'm able to logic myself out of that. And I think, I don't know, did you always feel confident about singing too? Am I just like an egomaniac?
Yeah, I think I have always been pretty confident. First time I really sang in front of people was doing the lead part in Fame at my high school, and that was also like a short notice preparation thing, but I pulled it off and got a lot of praise for it. So like I started out pretty high, for better or worse. Which also made me, I didn't want to lose that high. So, whenever I felt I was going to, I had to push myself to stay up there. And then raising the bar just a little bit. And yeah, having a big mouth, when people say, can you sing this? And, before I haven't even heard the song or whatever, I just say, yeah, sure. And then realize, fuck, I need to practice. I actually remember a specific moment like this when I was at the Academy of Music. It was when I just got to learn gotten to know my best friend Linus from that time. And he said, well, so you're a singer. Yeah. Are you any good? Yeah, sure. All right. Can you sing this? And he handed me the Images and Words Dream Theater sheet music book. And I just went, flip through it. Yeah, sure. He was like, all right, see you next week. Let's go through this. No.
Oh my God.
It started to I haven't even heard it. So I sat and listened to all this amazing singing, stuff no. So yeah, having a big mouth and then try to live up to, walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Or like when we had a metal cover band. Oh, is it okay if we do this one from Slaughter of the Soul? Sure thing. But do you do harsh vocals? Yeah, sure, I do. And then it was just about learning. I think it was I don't remember. Yeah, At the Gates, whatever. So yeah, having a big mouth and feeling confident has helped me in a way, but I think you need to back it up with work.
Yeah. Oh.
What's your?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, you.
Oh, I kind of actually really relate, and I don't know. I always kind of felt like, this is gonna sound cheesy. Like I vocally always felt like I could do anything. Like, and I think it wasn't because it wasn't like out of arrogance. It was just like, I've been able to do this thing before, so I just hate the idea of not being able to do something. So if there's something that, yeah. So if I want to be able to do this thing because I have these feelings that I need to express, like, I don't want to not be able to like express those. Like, okay, so with harsh vocals, I carry a lot of anger, especially since last 7 years or so. And that was around when I started learning how to do harsh vocals, because somebody was like, hey, your melodies are gay, and we should do more of this style. And I was like, man, fuck you. And I was like so mad. And the only way you can really get that out, like, you're not going to be like, I'm so mad. You're going to be like, fuck. Like, it's so important to me, at least, to be able to do that. And I remember even like when I was learning how to sing power metal, like this seemed so intangible, this technique. I remember bringing in Lost Horizon to my voice teacher.
Daniel Heyman.
Yeah, exactly. I was like 17 and I was like, how do you do this? Because at the school that I was going to in England, they mostly teach you, do you know speech level singing, this technique?
Yeah.
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 So
Brett Manning and what's the other guy's name?
Riggs, I think.
Seth Riggs. Yeah.
They had us doing like, basically like stuff that you would do at weddings or other functions. So they were teaching us stuff so that we could actually work. But I was like, hey, I want to do something really ridiculous. And I remember she was like, this is not for the faint of heart. I can't do this, but I can teach you how. And beyond that, good luck. And it was so damn hard. But I was just so fucking stubborn. I'm like, I have to do this.
Mm.
I have to. There's no way that I'm going to go through life not being able to do this.
Yeah, but that's kind of the grit and attitude that I think. I mean, obviously you have it, but I think that's a very important part of any musicianship, but vocals in particular. You know, to be a bit arrogant and narcissistic. That I am. You have to be your own favorite singer. You have to.
Right, yeah.
This is. I can see people dropping off, you know. But you know, I think it's true. You have to enjoy your own voice. You have, and that's why I always been, you know, pissed when I hear someone singing something that I can't do.
What can't you?
And that it pisses me off. and then I have to do it.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Totally. If there's some like obscure, like I learned how to fucking throat sing because it was, yeah. Oh, and it helped so much with death growling. But it was like there's a thing that I don't know how to do. Better go fucking learn how to do it. And during quarantine, I was like learning this like, I forgot the name of the technique, but it's like the Indian like microtonal like this type of thing. I forgot what it's called, but I couldn't do it. Still can't really do it. But it was like I have to learn how to do it because it's annoying.
Yeah. I have two very unmetal moments like that. One is like the Crash Test Dummies singer. You know, the walls, there was this field. And I still can't do this. And I listened to them a lot for a while. And he also did some falsetto stuff. But, you know, he made it sound so easy, even though it was very low. That and Philippe Jarouski, the French countertenor.
Okay.
That also pissed me off. So, you know, I spent days, weeks, and months doing the, you know, singing all the 24 Italian, you know, that yellow old book.
Oh my
singing
God,
all that.
I didn't even talk about that book. Nightmares. The vocalist.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Paeth? Yeah.
Book, yeah.
Yeah, with and isn't that the thing where there's one etude where you do only seconds and then one with only thirds.
Yep.
I didn't do all of it, but some of it. Yeah, and now I pass this angst on to other people.
Good. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and that's another thing, you know, about the grit and you know, things taking time? I mean, we kind of stopped the story at 12. You said you started taking private lessons.
I was really bad. Just putting that up. I mean, I wasn't awful, but when I was 14, I didn't know how to use my head voice at all. So I didn't know have this. So I thought it was this, like the chords just like weren't connecting properly. So badly that my teacher sent me to like a ear, nose, and throat doctor because he thought that I had really bad like notes or whatever. I thought I was totally fine. I was just an idiot that didn't know how to sing in head voice. So yeah, it takes time.
And then I don't know, you were like, when you went to Berkeley, you were like 18?
I was
18, 19?
Yeah, 18, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like 6 years of training before?
So I did private voice lessons from 12 until 22. Dropped off a little bit and then started taking lessons with you. But I did 2 years full-time at the Academy of Contemporary Music. The first year was in vocal performance and the second year was in artistic development and songwriting. So like learning how to market yourself as an artist, like do good branding, trying to figure out like lay a career path for yourself and like learn the industry and also learn how to write songs and use a digital audio workstation and all that stuff. And then I went to Berkeley for 2 years and yeah, it's been a lot.
So yeah, so one could say that you're fairly well educated in music.
Yes, I don't have
kind of an understatement, but yeah.
I am thoroughly overqualified for a lot of things in this regard. I literally like I've studied so many like voice techniques, not just like, oh, I can't do that, so I'm gonna, but like I studied bel canto, I studied speech self singing, I did musical theater belting, I studied like pop singing, I studied rock singing, and I taught myself how to sing metal, and now I'm learning from you, and like I learned a lot. I well educated.
Yeah. But about the harsh vocals, what was it? I mean, you talked about the anger, but I mean, it seems like a huge leap from listening to Dimmu Borgir to I'm going to do this. For me, at least, it feels like a pretty huge leap to actually say, well, I'm going to learn this. So how was that leap for you, or was it just a step?
It was kind of just a step. I had been doing a little bit of harsh vocals in the years prior, maybe like one like stanza per show. So like only up to like 30 seconds of screaming and then clean singing for the entire rest of it. So I kind of had a little bit of a grasp on the technique, but I had almost no endurance. So it went from like listening to Dimmu Borgir to like trying to make it through a whole song and barely like getting through a verse. And yeah, at that point, like it's the same thing with working out where you stop. I don't know, I just stopped like feeling the pain as much and was just like so pissed off and like more in my mind than in my body. And I guess I was able to do that because of like all the previous years of training to like make sure that it's muscle memory to stay safe. But yeah, it was mostly about the mind to just stay and keep pushing. Yeah. And that's, I guess, kind of like what you were saying about you just say, yeah, I can do it. And then you have to be like, oh, fuck. Now I gotta like
do it. Actually do it.
Yeah. So, yeah. But you probably like when you are like, oh, fuck, now I gotta do it. You probably also get into this mind space of like, this doesn't exist. Just gonna do it. that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was...
Because about the harsh stuff, I have this. I don't really do that a lot. I do like occasionally, but I feel like when I do the harsh vocals, I get tired in my harsh voice, but not my regular voice. So I can do like that for a while, and then that voice will stop working. But I can still go, full Kisk, Yaroski, whatever. But I think I kind of stopped at that point where you said like, okay, I don't care this.
Right.
So I kind of stopped there.
I mean,
but
that is okay. I mean, also yeah. I like some of the voice clips that you send me where you're like screaming, like the one that you sent after the boom thing that I did for Ed.
Yeah.
No, Jack, and he was like, "Man, that would sound sick on a microphone." So like, I think your scream technique is actually probably really good. So I mean, if you ever felt like it, all you would have to do is just fucking do it for like an hour or something. An hour's a long time to fucking.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of many things that I would like to work on more. But there are a million things.
Yep.
And then there's stuff that you have to do, or sometimes stuff that you get paid to do, and then you will have to do that first.
Yeah.
I saw some of the comments here about you being one of the most versatile singers around, and I kind of think I agree on that. I remember some
comments that you're saying. Sorry, but I'm thanks.
Okay. I mean, I remember one of the things when I heard some of the songs from Solveig first. Most often you can hear if it's a screamer that is also singing, or if it's a singer who is also screaming. But I couldn't really determine.
Oh, interesting.
When I heard you, yeah. So, and that was kind of because it was very high level on both of them.
Thanks a lot. That's cool.
But what would you say is the hardest thing about switching between harsh vocals and clean vocals?
Oh, it's okay. We've gone over this in lessons before, but it's making sure that the scream technique doesn't bleed into the singing technique, especially with those very fast changes. Because when I'm like screaming, I have to use like not even full power. I had to like pull that back too, because I was like my entire everything was like overheating because I was working too hard. Shockingly, yeah, a fucking autobiography. But anyway, yeah. So like when I'm screaming, I have to like use 90% of my diaphragm power, maybe like 85 of my power, and use like a certain type of like throat compression, but make sure that everything else is like super open, and like drop my larynx so I can get like a big like meaty sound. Exactly. But then as soon as I have to change to singing, it has to be like light, and like I reduce to like 50% power from my diaphragm because I don't want to do the equivalent of overblowing, because otherwise it's gonna sound bad. I'm gonna get tired faster. It's probably gonna go out of tune. It would be like pressing too hard on a string while playing guitar. Yeah. And so if I use too much power, and if I use that vocal compression while I'm trying to sing, it sounds like M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, but like bad. So, you know what I mean? Drag the devil alone down to the devil show.
So the hardest part is, so what you're saying is to adjust the amount of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
to use ridiculous amount of pressure for this, and then find a good level of or whatever it is.
I mean, it's also like what can I compare it to that's not singing? Like when the phone's ringing and you're having a shit day and you have to pick up the phone and be like, "Hi, how are you?" But like having to do that, and for me, like, sorry, I'm trying to use like all the light sources and this keeps turning off. But it's just very hard for me to not go at 110% all the time. So the hardest part is like going from like 85-90% power to like 50, just chilling so that I can make it through the whole set.
And that's like driving. If you're driving in 80 miles an hour and you get off the highway and you get into a suburban area and you drive past a school, like it feels like you're so and it feels like this must be wrong because I'm not working at all.
That's the one. Yeah, it feels like I'm doing a bad job because I'm not dying while I'm doing it. Yeah. And feeling like this must be wrong because I'm not working, and work means success. Oh my God. Yeah. That is my autobiography. Wow.
Pushing too hard, an autobiography by Adrienne Cowan.
Yeah. But so you also do some harsh vocals, right? So like what's hard for you? Like what's the hardest part? Like just so many techniques, because you're like, so you're my favorite teacher that I've ever had. I just you just get me. and like you've never made me like pick one, you know? So, and I feel like that's because you also are able to do so many things. So like for you, how is it like that you can balance so many different things that you can do?
I thank you first. That's the polite way to go. I think I read an article from a Swedish mastermind named Johan Sundberg. He's written a very thick book about vocal acoustics, and it's just, you know, diagrams and, you know, so it's not something you read lightly, and I haven't read all of it, but he talks a bit about he made a study if singers have better ears or can hear better than other people, but they can't. But don't ask me why, but what he proved was that singers have better body control and body sensation than regular people, you know, the inferior one, like bass players or whatever. So what I think is my strength is that I am very quick to feel whenever there is something wrong and adapt. So I think that my biggest strength is the connection between the mind and the body. So when I do switch between harsh vocals or deep vocals or other stuff, I think it is because I train a lot, but I think it is because of the body sensation and the body control. And I might have been blessed with a pretty good one.
That totally makes sense.
I think. So yeah, I think that would be it. What is the best thing about your voice?
Oh God. Go first. I have to think about it.
I think what I like most about my voice is when I sing naturally, when I just start to sing. I think I have a big spectrum of sound. Not that it's loud, but in my natural voice there are both high frequencies and low ones, and I mean that blends together nicely. I think that is what I like most about my. Now I see people dropping off again, uh, but I think that's what I like most about my voice. That I it's not very. And in a way, for other people that might be a boring voice. There are no, you know, if you hear Kai Hansen sing, you
I know what you
hear
mean.
that is it, and that's probably why I fit pretty good for doing choral work, because I mean I have a good spectrum of sound, and I don't, you know, stick out in a special way. So it might be a strength and a weakness, but I tend to see it as a strength.
That's really cool, actually, because I don't have that. I am like, my like mids and like high mids are very like, here they are, and then everything else is like, ooh, not as much. But you know, we make that work, I guess. Okay, I thought about it a little bit, and I think the thing that I like most about my voice is that I can really, I'm not so good at talking about my feelings, but I can express myself the best when I can sing. And I think, judging by the messages that I get back from people, they're like, your content really makes me like feel things. So I think that the effects that singing has, I think it may also happen to other people. And I think that's my favorite part. That's kind of a dumb answer, but here we are.
No, but I think it's a very good answer.
Okay.
Because I think which brings us to our next question, of course, the worst thing about your voice. Or what do you like the least about your voice?
I hate that it runs out and that it's such a fragile thing. Like if the air conditioning is too high, or if the heater's on too much and I'm like too dry, or if I get sick, then I can't sing at 100%. And that's like what, like on tour, like different climates and stuff, like it's just impossible to stay consistent. So that's what I hate the most about it. What about you?
I think it's the opposite of what you said about the feelings. I tend to think that I have a flat voice, not in the way that I'm pitchy, but I think that the biggest challenge for me is to express feelings with the voice.
Interesting.
I think, and that's usually what I have to work the hardest with. Because you also know I speak a lot about the content of the song, the lyrics, the rhythm, the melody, and very often tend to work with them separately, learning the words, speaking the words like you do with the boom challenge.
Right.
Exactly the same thing. And then with both rhythm and lyrics, and then learn the melody. And I think that's kind of makes my singing flat. So I'm pretty bad at taking the next step.
I see.
And that's probably because I've also done hundreds of cover band gigs, you know, where you stand there just doing your musical prostitution thing and feeling pretty no, I love it in many ways, but you know, it's like going to the factory, you know, you're just doing it, and there's really no use in spilling your guts and bleeding your heart out in front of people who don't really listen. So I think that's my what I like the least. Stuff that we need to talk about. Your best vocal memory.
Okay, you go first again because I have to think about it. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's a hard
I didn't expect it. Best vocal memory. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I can't. I think I have to think a bit about that because worst vocal memory.
That one might be easier. Worst vocal memory. It's not the worst one, but it is a bad one. It's the first bad one that I could think of. I played a show in Denver, Colorado, a couple years ago, something like that. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's very high above sea level compared to other places. And the altitude makes it very hard to do anything, like singing. And I had worked out in the morning, and I was like, wow, I am wimping out, can't even run a mile. Like, what's wrong with me? I did a little bit of weightlifting. Oh no, I did crunches, like sit-ups. And I was like, damn, I'm so tired. Then we went to play the show, and I'm like, I'm still tired. And my core muscles were still tired. And at the time, I didn't realize that exercising can put strain on, like we just talked about, like the body using the air in the lungs. Exactly, like putting pressure against the cords. So I essentially, according to my body, had already played a show that day, and then went to play the actual show, and I couldn't hold high notes that well. I mean, like, this is me being super hard on myself because I know in my heart that I did a good job, but in my brain, like, I'm a fucking failure. Like, I have no power. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but it's like everything just, like, you're singing, and then everything just gives out. And, like, no sound. Like, ah! And then that's it. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And the worst part was one of my students was at the show.
Yeah.
And I felt like a complete imposter. And it was...
I would probably say that would, about singing in front of your both teachers and or students is very hard, even if it's just in a rehearsal room. Or I did some Mozart maths, miss I don't remember. It's a short mass, not the big 20 minutes of it. It's a short one. But I was soloist, a tenor soloist, together with my old teacher, and she was the alto soloist. And even though I know that I practiced, it sounds good. I practiced with the orchestra, everything sounds good. Still, it just she stands there, and she was my teacher 15 years ago, and it's like, okay. Show me what you got now. What have you learned since then? So that would not probably be my worst memory, but yeah. Best memory, still don't really know. Maybe no, I can't think of anything. Sorry, it's very hard to find a very good memory. Or no. Too many, probably. Shit. No, this was hard.
I thought of two.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's usually one or two really good ones per year, and that's how I know that I'm on the right track. It's like the universe is, here you go, I'll throw you a bone just so you know you're doing the right thing. Keep at it. I know you're tired and sad, but so the first really good one that I thought of was in 2014. Spires was barely a band. We hadn't really done too much at the time. And we opened for Arch Enemy, and it was our first, big show, I guess. And I remember, walking out on stage, and everybody cheered. just because I went on stage, and that was like, oh fuck. And I didn't even like sing a note yet. And then a few years later, we played the same venue, opening for Sonata Arctica, and like they just loved us so much. Like they wouldn't stop applauding at the end of our set. That like it was like, what do we do? I guess we should bow or something. The first time we like ever bowed after a show, like all four, you know, like the fucking we're on tour, we're the fucking shit. Yeah. Those were like early amazing Spires memories. And then one from last year, we played Summer Breeze with Avantasia, and there were like all these heavy bands playing, and then apparently it was going around the camp that we were called the like Schlager metal band, basically. For anyone that's not German, Schlager is like German pop music, basically. So they're saying like we're like the stupid pop metal band, whatever. But I get the one part in the show where I get to scream. So like I wore like my fucking tree branch logo hooded sweatshirt and my leather jacket, and like put on extra dark makeup, and like this one part in the show, I get to go out in front of like tens of thousands of people and just like scream my guts out, just to be like, fuck everything, fuck all of you who said I was stupid, fuck everybody that said that I couldn't scream. It was great. It was a very like big win in a way.
Yeah.
Super fuck you moment. I used to be very much fueled by like revenge by success, I guess.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And I think many people do.
Yeah, definitely. But it's such a draining way to live, and for as much as I talk about like anger and screaming being linked, for me it's I can't hold on to that much negative energy anymore for so long. It's too much. So I just work for myself, and yeah, you know, my own happiness and art and stuff. Yeah.
And about that, when it comes to singing and studying singing, rehearsing, practicing, whatever, I think we're starting to close in on 1 hour. I think that Instagram will kill us off when we've done an hour. I think it works like that. But anyway, I would like to ask about your biggest aha moments when it comes to singing and practicing and learning.
I had a lot of them with you. A lot of like, holy shit, I didn't realize that's what I was supposed to be doing. As far as like learning how to do things without having to work so hard, and like taking tension away from singing. It was like, even in the first lesson with you, you're like, do this thing where you like stand on the wall and like activate your neck muscles, and then I sounded like an opera star for the first time in my life. That was like, holy shit, I didn't know I could do that. And for anyone watching, that's why I kept going back. So yeah, but yeah, that's one aha moment, I guess. Do you have one in mind for yourself?
No. Or maybe when I took lessons from it was actually an SLS teacher when I was like 16, 17, and there was a lot of Toto going on, kind of stuff. But after a while, and this was a while ago, so he gave me a CD with TNT. I think I sent you is a Norwegian band with an American singer, and I remember getting home and putting this in the CD player, and hearing just the first note from "Lay your cards on the table." It was like, holy shit! And that was like one of those I have to be able to do this moments. So it was not like my own vocal moment, but yeah, that was, and now I came to think about the first, or a very good, my best vocal moment was when I sang a song from Jekyll and Hyde, the musical. Uh, it switches very quickly between clean and harsh vocals. And
Oh,
when I did it the first time live, I got standing ovations, and that was an amazing thing. That
yeah,
was the first time I got that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
uh, yeah. There's a lot of questions we haven't done so far. I don't know. I mean, if we're not cut off, we can go on for a while, or if people want to do anything else, they will do that. Home recording tips. How has the recording of the new Seven Spires album been going?
Well, it was a painful process. Let's see. Recording at home, I basically always use this. It's a Shure SM7B. I know you know. It's great for screaming, and I also use it for making basically all of the demos. Jack recently bought a thing mic, which is like, I could compare it to an Axe but for a microphone. You already probably know this, but it's a microphone that has like naturally a pretty like flat response, and then software that you can like basically turn it into this mic, or you can turn it into that mic, and each microphone has a different frequency response and different sound. And so it was really fun. Jack's gotten really good at making me feel comfortable when we're recording. He knows, after so many years, I would hope so, but he knows exactly how I like to sound, and he knows like which types of reverbs make me do the thing. And so yeah, even though it was, like I said, a painful experience, it wasn't anything to do with that. Yeah, and he just like hung up a blanket like behind me and like had me aim at a corner, and yeah, that was basically it. Just a lot of
Yeah.
yelling and screaming and crying and I'm sorry, I'm terrible, let me go again. Usually he was the one who used to ask for more takes, but this time I'm like, okay, I know I can give you like even one better than that, and it's like the fucking 50th take or something. So I really hope, even for that reason alone, that people will appreciate the performances on this record.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Hopefully.
But I mean, it will never be a rule about this. But for how long during a regular day were you recording?
Only maybe like up to 5 hours, but like split in blocks. Some days we did longer, some days we did very little. I think he said he was doing like 8 to 12 hour days with Pete, our bass player, but
Yeah.
I physically am unable to do that because my instrument is this big at most. And yeah, those little guys are pretty tired pretty fast.
And that's probably why it's a good idea to most of the time have someone else in the room, because I at least feel like I'm so focused when I record something, so time and space doesn't exist, and the quick what do you call it? I work really fast. I work alone, so I forget time and space, and I just work. But if you have another person in the room and they get hungry or have to go to the bathroom or work, they have to take a rest. I guess it's easier to take a break yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I actually have no problem being like, hey, I need to take like 5 minutes, because when we're recording, and I guess maybe this is how you feel all the time, but I'm like hyper aware of everything that's going on in my body. So I'm like, oh, my stomach feels weird, and it's probably because I had this thing, and now it's making me sing like this because there was acid in it, and it gave me like a weird in my singing. Or like, oh, I've been singing this one part in this one register of my voice, and now it's exhausted, and it's gonna make the soprano parts of this, SATB section sound weak and stupid. So yeah, I definitely don't have an issue of being like, hey, can we eat something, because I am not sounding
Yeah.
Not sounding good. I mean, I would rate my performance like a B instead of an A+. So,
Yeah.
no. God forbid.
Did you have like, okay, so tomorrow we do the hard stuff, or like today we will do the Disney princess high belting, or did you just like, okay, we do this part and you know, or did you have specific days for specific sounds?
We had a little bit. We had to work around a little bit of a schedule, just like knowing that if we're going to do this type of stuff today, then we should probably do that type of stuff tomorrow. But basically, it's usually wake up. Okay, Adrienne, how are you feeling? What would you like to do today? And for as much of a like I'm literally looking at 3 calendar like agenda things right now, but like for as obsessed with time management as I am, I'm like when it comes down to it, I'm a very like spontaneous person, and with something as organic as the voice, I can't plan for like, oh, tomorrow we're gonna do these things and the day after that we're gonna do those things. So yeah, I just have to kind of, I feel, and also like I said before, because I'm a very like emotional singer, if I'm having a shit day, that's a great day to do extreme vocals. Or if I'm having a good day, I don't want to ruin my like one good day of the month by singing like a song about not fearing death.
So closing in, what is your, and kind of trying to wrap it up a bit, what is your vocal goals? What are your, what would you like to do? What would you like to be able to do? What do you see like 5 years? I'm not going to tell you how old you will be in 5 years, but you know it probably is.
I'm very aware of how old I'll be.
This is like, you know, a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? But you know, what would you like your voice to be in 5 years from now? Just
better.
Boring answer.
I know. I was gonna elaborate. So I really look up to Adam Lambert vocally. He's been probably my favorite singer, aside from Roy Khan, for ever. Okay, since like 2009. But anyway, I probably my view of his abilities is clouded by my adoration of his performance style. But hopefully in like 5 years I would like to be something like that. That's not a very, there's no like tangible like things that I can check off, like I'm trying to join Queen, or like I'm not trying to join like Nightwish or anything. But like to have this type of control and like charisma and just like the way he can do like runs and like stupid high belting, like it's fucking nothing. Like I feel like I do a decent job of that now, but like just to like keep pushing as hard as I have been for 5 years, I would hope that I would be close to that level by then.
Yeah.
Is that a better answer?
That's a very good answer. Yeah, I saw Queen a couple of years ago with him, and most of the time, you know, when I watch bands live, I can turn off the voice teacher part of my brain. But I, you know, for like 2.5 hours of Queen songs, I couldn't hear a single thing that wasn't top notch.
Couldn't have said it better.
It was so amazingly good. And what I think also is that he's not trying to be Freddie. I'm so certain that when he goes up on a stage doing the Queen songs, he doesn't hear Freddie in here. He hears himself.
I agree, and it's so sick.
Because everyone hears Freddie when they sing Queen songs. And I'm also very certain that if you hear a voice in here, that is what the voice you hear in your brain is what your voice will try to reproduce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked about this. This was a huge problem for me, trying to sing Amanda Somerville stuff or like Candice Knight. Like I have like exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm not built for this like Lala girly stuff. It's, at all.
And that's why you have to be your own favorite singer.
That's right. And
because I mean, Adam Lambert can walk up on a stage in front of thousands of people singing Queen songs and hearing himself in here. That's what you need to do if you want to sing. You have to be your own favorite singer and hear yourself sing. And the best way to practice that way is, now I'm not only talking to you because you know this already, but everyone else, that listen to karaoke tracks and sing only in your mind. Listen to fucking Celine Dion. And hear yourself sing this, so you don't have Celine in your mind when you try to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it will be like, what do you call it? Short, glitch or whatever between the mind and the voice. Because, and for all the Swedes out there, I always hear Tommy Körberg in my mind since I was 17. So that's my hardest thing, getting him out of my mind whenever I sing something, especially musical theater.
I can understand.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw Tommy Johansson entered, speaking about great Swedish singers.
Sorry, who?
No, Tommy Johansson, Majestica, Sabaton.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. And also Jack, and I haven't been following the questions. There's a lot of comments from very nice people. There's a lot of. I haven't. Hello, everyone.
How do I see?
We've just been talking. There's people I don't know, people I know. There's even a bass player saying that it's interesting to listen to this. Yes, Christine, I know. And Hova from Moonscape. There's a lot of people.
Oh, that's not, it says 13 people on my thing, but it said that
13?
13.
41.
Oh.
Mine says 41.
How great. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, everyone. So I think even though there are 42 people watching from my end and 13 from your end, there's someone who said, enjoying the stream. You're both brilliant. Did you hear that, Adrienne?
Thanks so much. I'm glad.
Well, this was really fun, and I think we could have been talking for about an hour more.
Sure.
But I'm going to throw the crowd a bone, and I think you and we can do this again. We can do a follow-up, but next week at the same time, I will be having a voice chat with Vicky from the Agonists.
That's so. She's awesome.
Yeah, she really, really is. And I also have some more people coming up after that, but not any time and date set up. So yeah, I've never done this before, and it was really fun. It was really nice to have you first up, because you have a lot of interesting things to say, and you're not afraid to say what you think.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah, we should do it again sometime.
Agreed.
So good afternoon to you, and good night to me.
Yeah, good night.
So, see you out there, and thanks everyone for watching.
Bye.
Bye bye.
How do I do this? Or are you
Yeah,
gonna?
I don't know. This is